Hello and welcome to the gameplay live pool drawing and gameplay presentation for US Quidditch Cup 2022. My name is Mary Kimball. I am USQ's Executive Director. I am so excited to be welcoming you to this presentation. We have not had a national championship in 3 years, which means we have not gotten to do this in 3 years. This is one of my favorite parts of nationals, and I am so excited for what we're going to be sharing with you. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the members of USQ's gameplay department who will be walking you through the format, structure, and pools for tonight's presentation. So Phantom or Sarah Nealing, can you start us off? Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do with USQ?
Hi, I'm Sarah Nealing. I work with USQ in the gameplay team, and I also work with the rules team. I've been with USQ since 2010, and I am excited to get back to having nationals again.
Josh, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Josh Cohen. I joined USQ as a gameplay coordinator in 2020, and I'm still in that role today.
Mr. Matt Melton.
Hey guys, Matt Melton. I joined Gameplay about 4 years ago, and then joined Ref Team about I think a year or two after that. So I've been doing that, working with both teams while also making equipment on the side for Quidditch.
And last but not least, Miles, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Miles Travis, and I am USQ's referee team lead. And for the US Quidditch Cup 2022, I will be the on-site gameplay coordinator.
Fantastic. Sarah Nealing, can you tell us what to expect for both divisions for this tournament?
Yes, so for signups for this tournament, we have 39 college teams and 31 club teams. Just due to the nature of getting back from COVID, we knew that we had some variable numbers coming in, and we also wanted to make sure that we were communicating with teams throughout the season, observing things that happen at tournaments throughout the season to figure out a schedule that will meet the needs and expectations of as many teams as possible in accordance with the availability that we have for our facility and referees and volunteers and everything. So we're going to have both divisions do a pool play into bracket. Everybody will complete all of their pool play games on Saturday and will play their bracket games on Sunday. Their placement in their pool will determine their bracket seating. We're also going to try going back to having a D1 and D2. However, the split will happen based on how teams perform in their pool play. So teams that win enough games in their pool play games will advance to a championship single elimination bracket on Sunday, and teams that do okay will advance to a single elimination D2 bracket on Sunday. Teams were sorted into their pools based on the rankings or the USQ standings, which froze after this past weekend, April 3rd at right before midnight Eastern time. So any games that were played that weekend were the last games that went into the standings before we chose the pools for this tournament.
Josh, what is happening specifically with the club division?
So in the club division, as Sarah said, we have 31 teams. They will play 4 pool games each. The way that we're splitting up the 31 teams is that we'll have 3 pools that have 5 teams, where each team plays each other within their own pool, and then 4 pools of 4 teams, where each team plays each other within their pool, plus 1 team from a neighboring pool. Teams with at least 2 wins will advance to the single elimination championship bracket, and the remainder of teams with a minimum of 8 with fewer than 2 wins will compete for the D2 championship. In order to ensure that the pools are roughly equal in standing strength, we sorted teams into 9 pots. The odd numbered pots, so pots 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, each had 3 teams. And the even numbered pots, pots 2, 4, 6, and 8, each had 4 teams. For the 3 pools containing 5 teams each, 1 team was selected from each odd numbered pot. And for the 4 pools containing 4 teams each, 1 team was selected from each even numbered pot. Teams were drawn at random, but we had protections in place to limit the number of teams from one region in each pool as much as we could.
Matt, you're going to start us off with the 5-team pools, correct?
Correct. So we're going to start with the 3 5-team pools, which is going to be pools Z, Y, and X. And if you're wondering why we're not starting with A, it's because club starts with A, or I'm sorry, college will start with A. So club will start from Z going backwards. And in pot 1, we're going to have the Warriors out of the Northeast. In pot Y, it's going to be Texas Hill Country Heat out of Texas. And in pool X will be the Bosnian Bear Sharks. So that's your 3 top seeds essentially out of pot 1. And then jumping down to pot 9, category 5, Quidditch Club out of the South will be in pool Z. The Rogues out of the Northeast will be in pool Y, and Mile High Quidditch out of the West or the Midwest will be joining in pool X. Next, pot 7 teams will be Quidditch Club Dallas in Z, the Ohio Apollos in Y, and the Boston Red Pandas in pool X. Next, the pot 5 teams, Skyline Quidditch will be joining the Warriors in pool Z. Orlando Spire Knights from the South will be in pool Y, and Salt Lake City, the home team essentially, will be in pool X. And then lastly, pot 3 teams will be Bay Area Breakers will be in pool Z. The Lost Boys out of the West will be in pool Y, and the Ann Arbor Army Ants will round out pool X. And that's it for those 3. And then I believe Miles will be walking everybody through the other 4-team pools for club.
Yes, thank you, Matt. For the next 4 pools, we will start with the pot 2 teams. Starting with pool W, Anteaters Forever. Going to pool V will be District of Columbia Quidditch Club. And pool U will be Boom Train. And in pool T will be Texas Cavalry. Going to the pot 8 teams, starting in pool W is Chicago United Quidditch Club. And pool V is Vegas Invaders. In pool U will be Houston Cosmos Quidditch Club. And finally, in pool T will be the Silicon Valley Vipers. Moving on to the pot 6 teams. In pool W goes the Atlantic Dragons. Into pool V is Pegasus Quidditch Club. Into pool U is Philadelphia Freedom Quidditch Club. And into pool T will be Gulf Coast Gumbo. With the pot 4 teams, in pool W will be Terminus Quidditch Atlanta. And pool V will be Twin Cities Quidditch Club. In pool U will be Seattle Quidditch Club. And finally, in pool T will be the Boston Pandas. The teams in the last 4, or the W, V, U, and T pools, will play their 4th game against a team of the same pot in their neighboring pool to create the following matchups. In pools W versus pools V, Anteaters Forever will play District of Columbia Quidditch Club. Terminus Quidditch Atlanta will play Twin Cities Quidditch Club. Atlantic Dragons will play Pegasus Quidditch Club. And Chicago United Quidditch Club will play the Vegas Invaders. For pools U versus pools T, Boom Train will play Texas Cavalry. Seattle Quidditch will play Boston Pandas. Philadelphia Freedom will play Gulf Coast Gumbo, and the Houston Cosmos will play Silicon Valley Vipers. And next, I believe Phantom will walk through the collegiate format. Or sorry, Sarah.
Yes, so for the college teams, we have 39 teams. The way that we have set this up, 38 of the 39 teams will play 3 pool games on Saturday. The 39th team will play 4 pool games on Saturday. There's going to be 8 pools of 4 and 1 pod of 7 teams. So teams that win 2 of their pool games can move on to that championship bracket. Teams that do not win 2 pool games will be continue the rankings out based on their pool play, and there'll be a Division II bracket made up of those teams. The way that we did this draw is we initially divided all 39 teams into 7 pots based on the standings, and we chose 1 team out of each pot to create the pot of 7. After we created the pot of 7 teams, we divided the remaining 32 teams into 4 pots, drew 1 from each pot to make the 8 pools of 4. And in that 7-team pod, every team will not play every of the other teams. We, based on the seeding of every team in that pot, we distribute it evenly so that every team will get 3 games against one of those 7 teams. The last ranked team in that pot is the one that is in that 17 pod is the one that is going to end up playing a 4th game on Saturday.
So with that being said, the 7-team pod, as Sarah just discussed, is as follows. The pot 1 team into the 7-team pod will be Texas Quidditch. The pot 7 team going into the 7-team pod will be the University of Northern Colorado. The pot 6 team going into the 7-team pod is Arizona State University. The pot 5 team going into the 7-team pod is Quidditch Club of Pittsburgh. The pot 4 team going into this pot of 7 is Florida State Quidditch. The pot 3 team going into the 7-team pod is WVU Summit. And the last team going into the 7-team pod from pot 2 is the Harvard Horntails. And now Josh will walk through the remainder of the pods.
Thank you. The 4-team pools will be as follows. From pot 1, we have University of Florida Club Quidditch going to pool A. Into pool B, we will have Creighton Quidditch. Into pool C, we will have Tufts University Tufflepuffs. Into pool D, we will have Maryland Quidditch. Into pool E, we will have University of California, Los Angeles. Into pool F, we will have Mizzou Club Quidditch. Into pool G, we have Cal Quidditch, which means that into pool H, we have Virginia Quidditch Club. For the pot 4 teams, into pool A, we'll go Dark Snare. For pool B, we have Utah Collegiate Quidditch. For pool C, we have Bowling Green State Quidditch or University Quidditch. For pool D, for pool D, we have Emerson College Quidditch. For pool E, we have Brandeis Quidditch. For pool F, we have James Madison University Quidditch. For Pool G, we have University of Rochester Thestrals. And for Pool H, we have University of Vermont Quidditch Club. Now the pot 3 teams. Pool A, we have Boston University Quidditch. For Pool B, we have Michigan State Quidditch. Pool C, we will have Marquette University Golden Avalanche. For Pool D, we have Illini Ridgebacks. For Pool E, we have SHSU Quidditch. For Pool F, we have Penn State Quidditch. For Pool G, we have Quidditch Club at Virginia Tech. And Pool H, we have the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Quidditch. Finally, the pot 2 teams. In Pool A, we will have Blue Jay Quidditch. In Pool B, we will have RPI Quidditch. For Pool C, we have Kansas Quidditch. In Pool D, we have Brown Bears Quidditch. In Pool E is Michigan Quidditch Team. In Pool F is Rutgers University Quidditch. In Pool G is Middlebury College Quidditch. And finally, in Pool H will be UTSA Club Quidditch.
All right, so all of the teams are all set out. We do want to clarify that something, as you know, this year has a lot that's different that's going on. One of the things that we're also trying to make it easier for teams to figure out what they need to do on day one in order to get into the bracket. And that's why we're saying that teams that win 2 games are going to go into the championship bracket, as opposed to in other years or at most tournaments where we have a set size of a 24 or 32 team bracket. Instead, this year we've scheduled games out and we've said that teams that are contending for a championship should be teams that have won at least 2 of their pool games. That's either 2 of their 3 games or 4 games if they're a college team, or 2 of their 4 games if they're a club team.
Thank you all so much for joining us. This information will be up on the US Quidditch and US Quidditch Cup website soon. We know it was a lot of information. Tickets for this event are on sale now. It takes place April 23rd to 24th. You can also plan to watch the live stream right here on Twitch. We are streaming 2 pitches this season, so get ready for double the fun. Visit usquidditchcup.com to learn more. Thank you so much for watching and have a great evening.